Aomway have just launched the Commanders V2, and for that reason, now might be the time to grab a bargain on the original set, which are actually better than you might think. So, a bit of a goggle frenzy, and these are the Aomway Commanders. These are not the version 2, but with the version 2 coming out imminently, I think they're on pre-order at the moment, this is an ideal opportunity to grab these at a bargain price. Click the link in the video description if you want to see the current offer that they have going. So they're boxed very basically in this here. You can see the specification, and the key thing that stands out to me is the FOV of only 32. Now I'm used to the Fat Shark SEs and also the HD3s. These are a FOV of 50 degrees, these are 42. So to drop down to 32 is going to be quite a shock for me, but let's have a look anyway. So inside the box we get a nice carry case, and first thing I noticed is wow, how small that is compared to the Fat Shark carry case. Now it's good that we get a carry case, but bearing in mind that these products do cost in the region of £200–400, so you should get a case at most. But yeah, that's a much smaller case, much more travel friendly. I've often thought about taking my FPV kit with me abroad, but I've always been put off by the amount of space that it would all take. Also in the box we get various accessories here. So we've got a patch antenna, we've got an omnidirectional, we've got an AV in and out cable. We don't seem to have a HDMI cable included with it, but this does support HDMI as well, so that's nice. You also get what they've called a battery filter adapter, which lets you basically connect a 2, 3 or 4S battery to this goggle set using the balance connector. So that's quite a nice idea actually. It means if you've got a battery hanging around and your main goggle batteries expire whilst you're at the field, at least you've still got a way to power your headset. So that's the accessories. Let's take a closer look at this goggle set now. So you can grab a bargain on these at the moment because of the launch of the version 2. So certainly have a look at the link in the video description to take a look at the current price. Now my first impression when lifting these up is just how light they are. Now the interesting thing about the Aomway Commanders is that they have an inbuilt receiver. You're not actually having to connect any module that you'd normally see on the likes of the Fat Shark goggles. The other nice thing that immediately catches my eye is that SD card slot. What a better place to put it. Much more accessible than that irritating location that the Fat Sharks have on the inside there, where it's a real pain to get the actual card in and out. Also on the top we've got a headphone port, we've got a channel and band button, because remember everything's built into this. Also a mode which you can use for switching between the aspect ratio and also inputs I guess in 3D mode. DVR control there, and also a button for the fan. And it hasn't got a big clunky fan on top. The fan I believe is built in somewhere here. Yep, there we go, that's the exit vent for it, at least down there. So yeah, very compact set of goggles there. On the front we've got the two diversity antenna ports, so you connect your patch and your omnidirectional onto those. And then on the underside we've got the IPD adjustments, as we're familiar with on every other goggle set. We've got a data port which you use for head tracking. There's an AV in and out, and then there's also a micro HDMI, which is great because you can then use these with a simulator, so that's really good to see. In terms of the build quality, they are a bit of a boring, dull grey. They don't quite look as exciting as the wonderful Fat Shark SEs, which I love the look of. But there's nothing to stop you customizing the look of these goggles and perhaps applying a skin or, I don't know, painting them. But yeah, I guess it's not all about the way they look on the external side, because ultimately you only really care about what they look like inside. So now the real test. Let's see how these feel to actually wear. Now I'm used to Fat Shark goggles, where generally you end up spending most of your time squirming around trying to get them nice and clear through your eyes. Now the first thing I noticed with these on my head is, first of all, they're nice and comfortable. I haven't rigged up the battery correctly there. But yeah, they are actually very comfortable. They're a good fit around the nose, etc. The screen is natively 16:9, and I'll show you on the GoPro in a minute what I'm seeing. But when you switch mode using the mode switch, the screen itself is still lit up on the side. So if you're in 4:3, you still get kind of the light area either side. I don't think that's going to be a major issue, and you probably won't notice it after a while. However, what I do notice is that the IPD adjustment is a little bit sticky. And I've noticed this with Fat Sharks before as well, where there you go, that one's a bit sticky. The IPD adjustment's not very well engineered and it doesn't move very freely, so that's a bit of a pain. They are also fogging up, and so I'm going to press the button to enable the fan on the front here, like that. But yeah, in general, they are actually very comfortable. And with the IPD set correctly, everything is perfectly in focus. The edges around the screen are perfectly sharp, and I've got no problem there. The other thing is, considering these are only a 32-degree FOV, they're really immersive, much more so than I thought, but that is in the 16:9 ratio. If I change that ratio down to a 4:3, then it is a fairly small screen, but actually much more immersive than I thought they would be. So what I'll do now is just show you exactly what I can see by putting my GoPro up to the lens, and let's have a look through the menu options. So if I just start that recording there, hopefully you can see that fairly clearly. Now, one thing I do like is that the OSD built into the goggle shows you the voltage at all times, which is really nice, because I hate how the Fat Sharks do kind of all of a sudden spring on you that the voltage is getting low. If I just page through the various modes as well, you can see we've got HDMI, HDMI 2D and 3D, etc. And you'll also notice the symptom I said about there, where you've got the lighter bars either side when you're in the 4:3 aspect ratio, because these are natively a 16:9 screen. But I tell you what, if you're going to be using these to watch a film, they're going to look much better in that 16:9 aspect ratio. But the screens inside these goggles look really nice. And so I think the next thing to do is let's go on a flight test and capture some DVR footage to see how it looks. So it is absolutely bloody lovely here. It's actually the hottest day in the UK so far this year, which I love. Got the HD3s here. I've also got the Aomway Commander V1, and I'm basically going to be testing, recording them at the same time and switching from one to the other, just to give you guys a view, or at least my impression of the experience and how immersive both of these headsets are. So I've got them both set to the same channel. Now, just a quick thought actually. The first thing is the channel band selection on the Commanders is a bit clunky because you don't have a lovely external module which has configurability and menus. On this, it's basically long hold to change the band and then single press to page through the channels, which is a bit of a pain. There's no auto search, no band scanning, no sort of cleverness like that on the Commanders, but these are cheaper. So, and I love the SD card slot being there, much better. DVR also, you know the DVR is recording because rec will flash in the corner. It doesn't actually say that very clearly in the manual. You see REQ appear and you think that that's recording, but no, it's not, only when it's actually flashing. Just another quick thought as well, these are so lightweight compared to the Fat Sharks. I mean seriously lightweight compared to the Fat Sharks. The other lovely thing about these compared to the Fat Sharks is there's no stupid additional port to plug in for the powering the fan. The fan's powered from the main battery. One press of that as well powers the fan for 10 minutes, not permanently. So it'll automatically turn off, which is quite nice. Yep, I can hear the fan whizzing up there. So what I'm going to do now is just have a quick fly of the Aomway Commanders. So yeah, as I say, we've got the aspect ratio of 16:9. You can change that as well. But what I'm also going to do is actually put the Fat Sharks on top. It's going to look really, really weird, this, just so that they both get signal and my head's going to be facing the same way so that it's a fair test. I'm going to start the DVR recording now and let's go. Here we go. So I'm flying right now with the Aomways, and I must say I love the 16:9 aspect ratio. I've not flown with that aspect ratio before actually, but it's really, really nice. It really, really works. It's actually very immersive as well, considering the FOV on these is much smaller actually than the Fat Sharks. Now I can hear a dog, and I hope that dog goes away very soon. Oh, I can hear a dog right by my head at the moment. yeah, the picture is very nice. The colours are very vibrant. I don't know if you're quite seeing that through the DVR footage. Hopefully you are. But yeah, for a tiny FOV, it looks really good. Surprisingly good. Now this of course is switchable to 4x3 as well. You don't have to fly it in 16:9. So it's nice to have that option. And in terms of signal, remember this has the built-in receiver, which is slightly different. But the signal's pretty good. It is diversity again, remember, and it comes with the patch and the omnidirectional antennas. But I would say overall that signal is pretty good actually. So if we do, I don't want to take this quad too far because it has got some issues. But if we take this a little bit further away, let's see just how good the receiver is. Now we're quite some distance. Oh, starting to get a little bit of breakup down there. So I'm going to bring it back. But overall, I must say, for a budget goggle, these are actually really nice. The picture quality is great. And yeah, feel very immersive. If you've never worn a pair of Fat Sharks before, these would feel absolutely brilliant. I think that's the problem really. I'm spoiled by the Fat Sharks. But there's a really good picture on these. And hopefully the DVR footage is looking nice as well. So let's land, switch to the Fat Sharks and see how we get on. Okay, so this time I'm going to be wearing the Fat Sharks. So we're going to put them on now. Now immediately, one thing I do notice actually is that the picture doesn't particularly seem to be as sharp. So actually I think the Aomways have better sharpness. But of course the screen is much bigger and I do like that a lot. So let's take off. Yeah, I mean the FOV is just much bigger on this. It's kind of like the difference between watching your widescreen TV at home and then going to the cinema. That's pretty much the difference between these two. I mean, I'm not conscious that I'm looking at a screen here, if that makes sense. It just feels like I'm there and I'm looking through. Massive difference. And as I said again, if you've never flown Fat Sharks before, the Aomways are a great deal and you'll be really impressed. But having gone from the Aomways immediately to these, what a difference. Now, because the Aomways have a smaller FOV, the picture is a bit brighter and a bit more vivid than these. As I said, I'm taking it very easy with this quad because it has an issue and it keeps flipping, it keeps doing the flip of death. So I can't really push it and do any sharp turns or make this flight look very impressive at all. But you know, this is really just to give you my take on the goggles. It's not to flight test this drone. So yeah, massive difference. What a leap from the Aomways. But as I say, the Aomways are much cheaper. I think they're half the price. And for half the price, you're getting a headset which is nice, bright, vivid, great contrast, built-in DVR, built-in receiver. You can't really complain about that. So I'm going to land this quad now before it falls out of the sky. I'll put some positives and negatives on the screen about the Aomway Commander V1s. The V2s are looking to be lovely, and certainly having flight tested the V1s now, I think the V2s are going to be definitely worth a look. And Aomway are definitely a competitor for Fat Shark, I would say, because I'm so impressed with these for the price. Okay, time to land. Cheers guys, thank you very much for watching. Comment below, give the video a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe, and links to these are in the video description, plus a discount coupon. Thanks for watching.